You're shit. What's going on, man? Okay, I guess I'll do the whole wait for people to come in, but really, I'm still not gonna do that. Your boy Grady Judd did another news conference. Um, it could be an open panel, it could not. I don't give a fuck. Your boy Grady, he got another news conference popping, and this one is about sex predators, and I feel like this would be interesting. Yeah, man, chill.
Good Friday afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being with me today. I have with me Chief Andy Ray from the Auburndale Police Department and Derek Blanton from the Winter Haven Police Department. You know, we did this recent Operation Child Protector 2, and as I always say when we do these operations, the strength of our investigations simply is our partnership with the police departments. We all work together to keep this community safe. We understand that criminals don't come and go according to city limits and county limits, and neither does support services from the sheriff's office and the police departments. We are all one, and this is just another example. So we did a 2-week operation, just the recent.
I'm refreshing it to get that shit off the screen.
Thank you very much for being with me today. For the heroic work of police departments. We are all one, and this is just another example. So we did a 2-week operation, just the recent of what we've done over and over and over, to focus on those that are online seeking your children. If it weren't for the heroic work of the undercover detectives from the sheriff's office, the Winter Haven Police Department, the Auburndale Police Department.
I think I forgot to put open panel in there, but feel free to slide. Stream y'all link is in there. You feel me? He did a new one a day ago. It was pretty good also. Oh yeah. Definitely gonna check that one out too. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it right after. I'm not sure. But if you want to pull up, the link's in the description.
Your children could have been the victims.
The link's in the chat. My bad.
Because we stood in the gap between good and evil. We made 12 arrests. They were not only from Central Florida, but you'll hear me talk about one that occurred in an arrest that occurred out of Alabama and one out of Michigan. That's right. They were grooming and doing real nasty things online all across this neighborhood, this community, this county, this state, and as far away on this operation as Michigan and Alabama. We say that we'll chase those child predators to the ends of the earth that want to harm our children. We've done that. You've heard me talk about us arresting a person in Australia and bringing them back here for trial. Well, we only had 2 from out of state this time. But here's what is important to understand, and I want the parents to understand this. These aren't traditional criminals. 9 of the 12 of these folks don't have a criminal history. Did you hear what I said? 9 of the 12 don't have a criminal history. But what they are doing, these evil people are lurking online and grooming children online to engage them in sexual conduct. 4 of the arrests traveled. The others.
Yo, them not having criminal records is kind of strange. That kind of makes me feel like people that do that feel like it's something like it's okay, like it's not a crime. That's crazy.
As you'll hear in a minute, provided very raucous communication, sent pictures, inappropriate pictures, nude pictures, action photos of sexual conduct to what they thought was 13, 14, 15-year-old little girls or little boys. So let me introduce you to some of them. This is Lawrence New. He lives on the Lakeland Highlands Road in Lakeland. He thought that he was traveling to have sex with a 13-year-old child. That's right. He came from South Lakeland to our undercover location at the far northeast end of the county.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Children's internet shit should be monitored closely. That's a fact.
thinking that he was going to have sex. He said he cherished the idea about teaching this 13-year-old girl about sex. He sent nudes and action film of him doing inappropriate things. His wife of 7 years was in another room sleeping whenever he did this. Oh, I'm sorry. She was in another room when he did this, and he had to wait for her to go to sleep so he could sneak out of the house to engage what he thought was a 13-year-old child. So let me focus on this a minute. He's in one room, his wife's in another room. He's sending all kinds of ugly things to what he thinks is a 13-year-old child. Then he leaves after she falls asleep and travels all the way across the county. He confessed. We've got him locked up in jail. He's the owner of Omnia Inc., which deals in disposing medical supplies, used medical supplies. Oh, did I tell you Citrus County Sheriff's Office also has a criminal charge waiting against him as well? But we've got him locked up here now. So this is not new for him. He's 67 years old, and he's a deviant. He's a child pedophile. He's a pervert. And now he's a jailbird. Then there's Christopher Valise. He's 33. He's from Tampa. He sent explicit photos thinking he was sending them to a 14-year-old child. And he told her, I don't want to get in trouble, so let's keep this between us. Where does he work? He doesn't work. You see, he's at home on disability and SSI. That's right. So while all of us are going to work, earning money, paying our taxes, he's getting our taxpayers' money to sit at home and groom little children online. He didn't travel, but he instructed what he thought was the little 14-year-old girl to destroy the messages and the pictures because I don't want to get in trouble. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, what would an operation be? Either a pornography investigation or a predator operation or a human trafficking operation without a Disney employee. We always have a Disney employee, sometimes more. This is Zachary Hudson. That's right. He's a bus driver for Disney.
Yo, this nigga said we always have a Disney employee. Hey, look, they say it's something in the water down here in Florida, ain't it? See, that's some shit you only get in Florida. That's that fuck the world shit. Florida's like Texas, man. Everything below Orlando, man. We got this. Son, yo, and then look at it, bruh. Listen, all right, we back to the bean footage.
He did not travel, but he sent nude and lewd pictures of himself. He thought it was to a 15-year-old girl. And he said to her while grooming her, what we said could get us all in trouble. And he said how he would like to wrap his arms around and feel her small, tiny body. Then he said, are you ready for this? You can't make this stuff up. I don't want to sound creepy. Well, you just sounded creepy. So he reiterated to what he thought was this little girl that she needed to keep it quiet. It has to be our secret. Because he said, I could go to jail. He said, but I'd risk it for spending some time with you. I'd risk going to jail. Well, when we arrested him, he confessed. Oh, newsflash, this will make Disney extra happy. He was doing this while he was on the clock for Disney. So if your bus was running late at Disney, he was busy taking pictures of himself and talking trash to what he thought was a little girl. Was that his Disney uniform in that photo? Yes. Then there's Timothy King. He's 26 from Clearmont. He rode a bike. That's right. He traveled. He rode a bike. This dude was on a mission. So you might ask the sheriff, how far did he ride a bike to have what he thought was sex with a 15-year-old child? 10 miles. Did you hear me? 10 miles.
All right, so y'all want to explore how nasty this nigga is, son? All right, 10 miles. Let's do it. Let's do it. You know I'm gonna do it. I gotta do them dirty. Oh wait, okay. So we're gonna go back here. Hold on, wait. I'll go back here. All right, so let's open up a new tab, right? And let's see how far 10 miles is. All right. Google Maps. Oh, I gotta just put maps. All right, look. we're gonna go to Google Maps. We're gonna see how far 10 miles is. All right, let's see. 10 miles is how many blocks would 10 miles be? So, oh look, I'm doxing myself. Anyways, so let's see. Where do we want to go? We want to go here. Let me see. We'll choose this place. How many miles is this? We'll do directions, right? 11 minutes. That's 3.7 miles. That's 1, 2. This is 3.7. So 10 miles would be. Let's move this. That's 9 miles. Damn. So this nigga. Oh, let's just use Google Maps. This nigga. Oh, here we go. It's giving me the mileage right here. Okay. On the side. Cool. 10 miles. Wait, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So that means the nigga would have had to ride a bike. Let's do the bike. Let's do the bike. He was riding that bike for an hour. So that would be the equivalent of. Yeah, that's a whole city. He drove a whole city away for a kid.
And he said, sometimes I get excited. He didn't use those terms, but I thought I would. He used much more graphic terms. He confessed. He said, I don't have any friends. And he was very cautious when he arrived at the house. He wanted to know about cameras. Are there any cameras? Yep, there's cameras. We got your picture. In fact, we got lots of pictures. We got pictures with your clothes on. Anyway. Then there's Zachary Clark from Tampa. He works armed security for Brink's National Guard. That's right. That was his job. So the next time you see a Brinks truck and they jump out armed to pick up the loot from the store.
Oh, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you supporting the channel and giving your insight. Appreciate that.
Knows what he's doing behind closed doors. He traveled. He thought he was going to have sex with a 15-year-old child. Boy, was he surprised when the door opened and there was sheriff's detectives and police officers to arrest him. He said he was kind of antisocial and he just did this to meet new people. He said, but don't worry, I didn't mean it. I was going to tell her mom. Well, that's as good an excuse as any when you're in a lot of trouble. This guy's 62. His name's Frank Butler. He's from Palm Beach Gardens. He's an administrator for BSG Hospitality. But he was in the Orlando area at a resort. So, hey, he thought he would confront a 13-year-old female. So he started the communication and he traveled. That's right. He traveled from the resort to meet what he thought was a 13-year-old female. You know what's interesting about that? His wife of 27 years was at the resort and he had to wait for her to go to sleep. So his wife of 27 years, who thinks they're at the resort to have a great weekend, she falls asleep. He sneaks out and goes to the undercover operation to have sex with a 13-year-old child, he thinks. But then he told the detective, once again, you can't make this up. He's not a bad guy. He said, I'm just not a bad guy. He said, you know what I was going to do is wait at the house with this child to tell her mom as soon as she come home what this child was doing. Yep. And then when we explained to him about the undercover detective and not the 13-year-old child, he said, well, what did I do wrong? It's just words. Well, newsflash, words matter. Words got you locked up. You were grooming a child. You agreed to meet a 13-year-old child because you, in fact, were going to have sex with that child. Why your wife of 27 years slept blissfully in the resort down the street. He says he doesn't prey on children. So anyway, we asked him what his wife would think about all of this. He said, you know, my wife wouldn't subscribe to this. That's why I had to wait until she went to sleep. This is a stereotype of a predator and a pedophile. Then there's Michael Ochino from Kissimmee. He's a forklift driver for PepsiCo. He had conversations with 3 different undercover detectives from the police department and the sheriff's office. That's right. He thought he was talking to 13 and 14-year-olds.
Okay, it's not good to judge, but like just looking at this guy, I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Children during this conversation. He said that he would like to stay with them. He talked about making babies with the children. He didn't travel. But then he said something that was really, really, really scary. You see, our undercover detective said that they were down here with their mom on vacation and talked about, during the conversation, the relationship. He said, look, you can stay with me. And here's how you do it. You walk away without your mom seeing you. She won't know where you are. You're from another part of the country. And then you wait for me and I'll pick you up. Is that scary or what? He was giving what he thought to be a 13-year-old little girl directions on how to escape from her mom, and he was going to pick her up.
Hey, my bad. I know it's a little cringy. I should have put a disclaimer. This guy's super cringe.
Then what? What's next? He's 57 years of age. Here's a guy that didn't travel, but he communicated from St. Clair, Michigan. He's unemployed. He thought he was talking to a 14-year-old child. He would say things like he thought she was sexy. He instructed this child how to delete their text. And he told her, I can't resist how young you are. He's in the St. Clair County Jail on our warrant, where we were assisted by the police authorities there arresting him. Well, Roger, buddy, welcome to Florida, because this is where you're coming. It's not going to be a vacation, unless, of course, you consider the state prison an extended stay resort. And then there's George Matthews. Here's what's interesting about old George. He's 66 years of age. He's from Ozark, Alabama. Are you ready for this? His job? He works at Fort Rucker. He's a Black Hawk mechanic. He works for M1 Support Services, which is a civilian company contracted to work on the Black Hawks. He sent very explicit images of himself to what he thought was 13.
Dang, that man has a dream job, bro. He works on Blackhawks. Dude, you have a dream job. You see, they come in any kind of form, man. You know, all these discussions that we have nowadays about, people in general and like how to judge a person. These relationship talks we have, they're all about how to prejudge a person so you don't jump into something that you might regret. That's what it's all about. That's what these arguments are about. That's what all these conversations are about. What type of person do I need to pick so I don't end up regretting it later? It's all this relationship anxiety. And really, it's just judging people. You know what I mean? But who would assume a dude that worked on Blackhawks, unless they like knew him personally, would think that? Just by the job description. He makes a lot of money doing that. Those are $1 million pieces of equipment. Almost $1 billion. Blackhawks are extremely expensive. The technology in those things surpasses any kind of radar system. That shit, you can't just get that.
A 13-year-old child. He did not travel but he said he would like to. He made statements to the 13-year-old that he was old enough to be her grandfather. And then he engaged in some very nasty chat. Well, when he came to work the next day and he crossed onto the base, the military police arrested him. By the way, that base, if you're not familiar with Fort Rucker, is the Army Aviation Warfighting Center. He had chats with his 13-year-old, not only while he was at home, but also.
Oh, and by the way, he said he was contracted. He's government contracted through the military. You have a dream job with unlimited funds to pay you for your expertise for an undisclosed amount of time. Your job can't be affected by the recession. It just goes to show, man.
While he was at work. I hope he didn't get so carried away with his chats that he forgot to put all the parts back on the Black Hawk helicopters. That could be a real problem. He's in the Dale County Jail, and he's not going to be flying here on a helicopter. I'll guarantee that. All right, I would like to turn this over to a dear friend of mine and colleague. We work together at the sheriff's office.
Okay, so that man had top secret security clearance. So now what's going to happen is the military might not necessarily question him, but his life's going to be kind of weird from now on. Just saying.
For 25 years until retirement age came, and then he went to be the police chief in Auburndale, and made me very proud to see one of my captains and one of the most talented people we've ever had work with us go on to be the police chief. Chief?
Thanks, sir. So 25 years here and 10 years at Auburndale, 35 years in this business. And these things still bother me, and they make my stomach turn. And if you're a parent and you have kids, or you're a grandparent and you have kids that are dear to you, do what you can to protect them, because the internet is a dangerous place. Make sure that you're monitoring them. Make sure that you're having conversations with them. There are a lot of nefarious actors out there, and we just want parents and grandparents.
Okay, what I like about these press conferences is he shows the criminals, he shows what they did, and the good work that the police have done, and which is awesome. And then he ends it by letting people that work on the investigation speak and be there. It's awesome. I think it's leadership, true leadership. You know what I mean? Anyways, I don't know if Grady is or is not. He may be a veteran. If he is a veteran, then that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, it would make a lot of sense if he didn't as well. Leadership doesn't just come from the military. Leadership is something you're born with. But that's a different conversation. Anyways, yeah, they do the debriefings and they talk about how much they're scum, and in some cases, I agree. They're doing work. And yeah, man, appreciate y'all for stopping by and showing me love, man. He has another one, like someone mentioned in the chat. He does have another one, a more recent one. That one might be kind of cool for people, so I'm probably going to do that one right after this, most likely, because I think that one's pretty interesting too. It's Sunday, it's a chill day, you know what I mean? Start the next week off right. If you're thinking about committing crimes during the week, you might want to think twice, you know what I mean? Because you got Mr. You got Mr. Judd gunning for you, you know? Yeah, man. All right. See, I'll probably see y'all in a minute. I'll probably do the next one. Yeah, it's only 20 minutes. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll do the next one. Whatever.